In the desert winds of Bahrain, it's round 3 of the Formula One World Championship, and after Melbourne and Malaysia, are we set for another thrilling endorsement of the talent and the potential of Britain's Lewis Hamilton? Commentators for the Bahrain Grand Prix, Martin Brundle and James Allen.
Thank you, Steve. Hello, everybody. What a fantastic build-up of atmosphere and colour. Bahrain certainly has real character as a Formula One venue. Just look at the wind blowing that flag on the main tower. That's where all the corporate guests and the sponsors are lodged. Tremendous wind, 4.2 meters per second, and as we heard Anthony Davidson say, it's a headwind onto the nose of the cars, and that means slipstreaming will be exciting today, and cars diving out into turn 1. That's where a lot of the action, I think, will be taking place.
Lewis has decided to aim his car towards the grippy side of the grid, as has Fernando Alonso behind him. They're looking to go left.
They look as though they're on a collision course. Let us hope that they are not. The long run down to this turn 1. Tremendous excitement and expectation. Formula One 2007 is a great spectacle so far. I'm sure it's about to continue. The Bahrain Grand Prix is go! Hamilton on the left is a bit slow away. Massa's got Raikkonen behind him. Watch for the BMW attacking. And look at Alonso already up the inside of Raikkonen. A cracking start by him. Hamilton goes through. Is there any contact? Raikkonen attacks him and goes deep. He's on the inside, but Hamilton holds it. Alonso's back into 4th place with the 2 BMWs behind him. One car just flying off the racetrack, but he's back on again, and Massa is leading. Here comes Raikkonen again on Alonso. Side by side, the 2 men who've already won races so far this season, having a great scrap over 4th. At the moment, it's Alonso. Big crash at the back. One of the Hondas is involved in that, and I think a Red Bull as well. It's Jenson Button, car number 7, Jenson Button, and I think that's Scott Speed's hit.
Yeah, it's the Toro Rosso rather than the Red Bull, the sister team. Tremendous fight down into turn 1. I think Hamilton and Massa may just have touched, and Alonso was busy putting manners on Raikkonen all the way through. Safety car has been deployed at 4 minutes past the hour. It came out, then it was abandoned, and now it's out again.
Let's take a look at what happened there, Martin.
Yeah, so where are we? It's Jenson, yeah, just got in a little bit hot, and yeah, well, the accident happened behind Jenson, actually. He was getting in, he was busy crashing into somebody else, and
yeah, he didn't touch Speed.
Yeah.
Speed was hit by the spiker of Alba's, in fact, that put him into a spin. So Jenson's already taken the blame, but there's no need for him to. Well, we'll be under the safety car for a few laps now, so join us in a moment.
They're underway.
Yeah, back live. Back Massa straight away. He comes down the inside. He thinks better of it. Meanwhile, Fisichella is having a go at Kubica. Kubica on the inside, Fisichella on the outside, and Kubica holds the line.
Yes, that shows you what we were talking about on the grid. The Ferraris have got such a straight line speed advantage in the second half of the straight. Hamilton with the perfect slipstream position and couldn't do anything with it. Went to have a look in the braking zone, and Massa super late on the brakes too. So that Ferrari looking pretty handy.
Always a chance through there. Look at the amount the car is moving under the drivers.
Yeah, you hook on those curbs, and and Lewis all locked up again. The problem with that is you start damaging the tyre, you get vibration, then it picks up an understeer because it's not gripping properly. But Lewis is really going to have to address that and brake more cautiously, because that'll harm him later on.
Well, this is a racetrack that is particularly tough on brakes. It's one of the hardest of the year. Some very big stops from close on 200 miles an hour down to around 40 or 50 miles an hour. Very wide there from Kimi Raikkonen. And this is what we were talking about. The wind here in Sakhir has lifted the sand off the desert around here and deposited it onto the racetrack, and it's just very slippery. The lap times at the moment not particularly quick.
I think this is going to be the big lock-up down into turn 8. No, they're both locked up, and it's Massa that actually locked up worse. For sure, Alonso is not as fast as Hamilton. Hamilton is the man taking the fight to the leading Ferrari at the moment. I wonder who's got the strongest head out of, and there's Alonso really struggling to hang on to the back end of that McLaren. I just wonder who's got the strongest head out of Felipe Massa and Lewis Hamilton up the front there, because There's 45 laps to go, and it's an absolute head-to-head, and it looks like it could stay that way through the race. I just hope his engine hangs on.
For the first time in quite a few laps, Felipe Massa goes through with a faster lap than Lewis Hamilton's to give himself a tiny bit more breathing space. You can then know they're fighting for a world championship. They both intend to be the two that duke it out at the end of this season. Massa obviously wants to be part of that battle as well, and who knows what Hamilton may do this season, whether he's still in touch at the end of the year. But for sure, the two main protagonists are going to be these two, and that's why they're being so cagey with each other at this stage of the race. No doubt, though, Raikkonen being held up. Yeah. And he's 1.3 seconds quicker on that lap than Fernando Alonso.
This often happens, doesn't it? You get two guys get out front, matching each other, and they just get into a new...
Okay, David, this is your race now. You got to nail it. Come on.
Yeah, DC knows that. He's got a clear track ahead of him. And now, if he can just drill in 2 or 3 really fast laps, he may just clear Kovalainen. And truly, teammate Mark Webber pits for Red Bull, 2 out of 8th place. And there is the fight for 3rd, 4th and 5th. They're just 0.6 of a second, 1.7 between those 3 cars at the moment. It's Raikkonen 0.6 behind Alonso, and probably not quite as near as he's been. And Hamilton is on a flyer again on this lap.
Yeah, he's not letting Massa get away. He believes that Massa's going to make a stop before too long. Clearly he is as well, or one of the 2 McLarens is. Meanwhile, the news on David Coulthard is he is in clear air. He's got 10 seconds before he catches the car in front of him. So when his engineer says this is your race, he's got a clear track in front of him to push as hard as possible on his new tyres.
Soft tyres ready for Lewis Hamilton, as we expected. 2 good stints on these better, softer tyres, and then hang on to it for the final stint. Keep your track position, keep ahead of the worst of the traffic. A lot of dust, so easy to lock a brake and mow down half of your men and miss the stop. The refueler can't get the nozzle on. It all goes horribly wrong at that point. So Lewis very calm, and away he goes. Quite a lot of fuel went in there, but we can't always believe those times, unfortunately. But a decent amount of fuel. They certainly weren't fueling that to get him ahead of Massa, were they? No,
it's quite a long middle stint. We'll get an accurate time for you on how much fuel went in, hopefully. Whoa, someone going off track and coming back on again at the top of the screens. Who's that? That looked like quite a moment through the final corner, turn 15 for Nico Rosberg. Yes, second time he's been off the track, kicking up a lot of dust, and he's battling there with Heikki Kovalainen. That's a scrap for 9th and 10th places, and Rosberg right off piste.
But that's a pass then, isn't it? Because Rosberg was behind Kovalainen. Coulthard pitted, and we're about to see. So Kovalainen going for the inside line to defend. Oh! Bit of contact there. They both scamper off onto the tarmac, and it's Rosberg who gets on the throttle earliest and hardest to take that place. There we go again. Rosberg thinks he's got the turn in. Kovalainen says, you're not passing me around the outside.
Looks like Ferrari have got a faster car here in Bahrain. Felipe Massa has a big margin over Alonso, and he's now driving to try and win this Grand Prix and get himself into the championship hunt. Ferrari go to work. Are those harder tyres going on, or is it soft? Can't see the white stripe at the moment. Yeah, there is the white stripe. So the softer tyre again, obviously, going on for him. He's not taking any chances. And back out he goes. Where is Hamilton? There he is at the top of the screens. Yeah. So that's worked out quite nicely for Felipe Massa. Although he's going to come out side by side with this BMW of Kubica, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
In comes the championship leader, Fernando Alonso. McLaren get to work. Worked very hard on making this a usable racing car, McLaren. Alonso said, I don't want some sort of rocket ship that's not adaptable. I want something that I can race with. And it's a car that can sit and idle for 3 minutes at the end of the pit lane, a car that has usable rear view mirrors and does everything properly, gets out of the pit boxes nice and tight. He doesn't want any experimental stuff. He wants to be able to race it. Seems like a pretty nice stop for him, though. He's back out on track. Raikkonen's now leading this Grand Prix on lap 23.
Webber's fuel flaps open, that destroys the airflow of the rear wing. I think he'll just get out of the way and let David go through, because his race is pretty compromised at the moment, and that's exactly what he does. So Mark Webber then doing the sensible team play because he's really hurting for rear grip, and they'll be able to do nothing about that till the next stop at best.
Chance of points here today for Red Bull, no doubt about that. They're battling with Fisichella for points, of course a few other drivers, Davidson as well. There could be one or two to be had here for David Coulthard. On a real dogged drive from him.
He's really on fire today, DC.
Just 23 laps remaining in this Bahrain Grand Prix, the third round of the 2007 Formula One World Championship. Felipe Massa has controlled it really from the start, from pole position. Lewis Hamilton's given him chase, but after the first round of pit stop, speed in his car, and he's been not only passed by Raikkonen, but also on the racetrack by Nick Heidfeld in the BMW just a few laps ago. So Heidfeld up to 4th, Alonso 5th. Certainly the man of the match so far is David Coulthard, who started 21st on the grid and has now fought his way up to 7th and is setting personal fastest laps every single lap at the moment. Someone's just gone past us, about to blow up their engine on the main straight. Is it one of the Super Gurus? I'm not sure who it was. Yeah, it's Sato. That's a massive engine failure for Honda there. So yeah, Coulthard is absolutely flying, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because BMW are looking very, very strong as well, getting themselves in front of Alonso. So we're seeing some performance changes really after the first two Grand Prix. The picture not quite as clear as it appeared. BMW more competitive than we thought.
Well, there's 5,000 pieces in each of these V8 2.4 Formula One engines, and something made a bid for freedom there.
The smoky engine. Oh no, it's Coulthard. The Renault engine's let go, I think. Smoke coming out of the back of it anyway. And a wonderful competitive drive by David Coulthard comes to an end 20 laps before the finish of the Grand Prix. What a shame. Well, it was a must-win race for Felipe Massa to get himself into the championship hunt, and he has delivered. Felipe Massa wins the Bahrain Grand Prix, his first victory this season, the third of his career, but what a heroic drive in second place by Britain's Lewis Hamilton. Raikkonen finishes on the podium in third. Fourth is Heidfeld. He holds off Alonso to the finish, and this is the battle for 7th and 8th places between Jarno Trulli in the Toyota and Giancarlo Fisichella. The other point scorer today is Cupid. He'll be scratching his head a bit about the half-a-minute deficit he has to teammate Nick Heidfeld. That is a lifetime driving the same car around the same track over 57 laps.
Trulli keeps scoring a few points for Toyota anyway. Great performance there by the Ferrari team. Lewis Hamilton, I think that's the first time, or I believe that's the first time in the history of Formula One that a driver has been on the podium in the first 3 Grand Prix of his career.
Race win, 10 points. Hardest race as well. Good boy. I'm very, very proud of you. Nice one.
Fantastico. Felipe, hai guidato da campione.
That is the classification then. Hamilton just 2.3 seconds behind at the end. Kovalainen, no points for him today. 2 Williams in the 10th and 11th.
Kovalainen only 7 seconds behind his teammate though, Fisichella, so Renault still struggling pretty much for pace there. But yeah, 80 seconds off the lead.
That's a lot for the car which has dominated here in Bahrain for the last 2 seasons in the hands of Fernando Alonso. So from race winners to 80 seconds behind the race winners in 1 season. That's how Formula One changes. No champagne here, of course. We're in a Muslim country. It's a drink called Ward, made of fruit punch that fizzes just as nicely as champagne. Massa needed the win today, and he duly delivered. A great race in the desert. And no, this isn't a mirage. We really do have 3 drivers sharing the lead of the World Championship. And you know what the best bit is? One of them is Lewis Hamilton.